Good morning, my dear students. I am Dr. M. Venkat, Assistant Professor in Zoology. Welcome to my Aniruddha tutorials. I teach zoology for the NEET entrance examination, All India Medical Entrance Examination. I hope you will learn more about zoology for the All India Medical Entrance Examination. Thanks for listening to my class and follow my class. Thank you all. Yeah, good morning, my dear students. Once again, I welcome you for my Aniruddha tutorials. I am Dr. Venkat. In my previous class, I explained about the structure up to the structure of a skeletal muscle. So you see that muscle is externally covered by the connective tissue sheath is the epimysium. Epimysium, below that muscle contain many number of the muscle bundles are called as fasciculi. And these fasciculi are covered by the perimysium. Each fasciculus contain many number of the muscle fibers. Fibers are lined by the endomysium. Each muscle fiber contain parallel arranged. These are called as myofibrils. Myofibril contain the myofilaments. So in the muscle, there are two types of the myofilaments. One are the thin filaments, second one thick filaments. Thin filaments, when the muscle is under resting condition, thin filaments are present in the entire I band and also a part of the A band, but excluding the H zone. I repeat, thin filaments are present in entire I band and also a part of the A band, excluding the H zone. But the thick filaments are present in only A band or anisotropic band or the thick band, dark band. So structure of a thin filament. I explained up to the structure of a thin filament. Each one thin filament contain two F actins. See, this is one F actin, another F actin, two F actins. In a thin filament, F actin, filamentous actin is the polymer. The monomers are the G actins. G actin is the monomer of the F actin. There are two F actins are present which are twisted like this, two F actins, and also two tropomyosins are present. The length of the F actin, the length of the tropomyosin are similar. In the thin filament, there are many complex proteins. This complex protein is present at the regular interval. In a thin filament, the complex protein is the troponin. Troponins are present on the tropomyosin, and the troponin contain the three subunits. One is the troponin T, which reacts with the tropomyosin. Troponin C reacts with the calcium ions. Troponin I, it is one inhibitor, and that inhibits the muscle contraction, and that inhibits the binding of the head of a myosin. Hence it is called as the inhibitor. And coming to the structure of a thick filament. Structure of a thick filament. Structure of a thick filament. As I told you, thick filaments are present in only A band, anisotropic band. I repeat, Thick filaments are present only in the A band or in the anisotrophic band. One thick filament contains one thick filament contain many myosins. Many myosins. One myosin contain many meromyosins. Therefore, this is the hierarchy. One thick filament contains many myosins. One myosin contains many meromyosins. Therefore, my conclusion is, in a thick filament, myosin is the polymer. Myosin is the polymer. Likewise, in a thin filament, G-actin is the monomer and F-actin is the polymer. In the thick filament, myosin is the polymer and meromyosin is the monomer. Meromyosin is the monomer. These are very important. Very important. What is the polymer in the thin filament? F-actin. And what is the monomer of the F-actin? G-actin. What is the polymer in the thick filament? Myosin. And what is the monomer of the myosin? Meromyosin. Therefore, now I discuss about the structure of a meromyosin. See, for example, this is the H zone. This is the H zone. H zone is present at the center of the A band, and at the center of the H zone there is a line, and this line is the M line. What is the property of the M line? M line is a thin fibrous membrane. A thin fibrous membrane is the M line present at the center of the H zone. So, the structure of a meromyosin is as follows. Each meromyosin contains, there is a tail. This structure is the tail of the meromyosin. Tail of the meromyosin. And there is a neck. This is the neck of the meromyosin. Neck also called as the short arm. Neck also called as the short arm. And this is the head of the meromyosin. This is the structure of a meromyosin. It is the head of the meromyosin, neck and tail, where neck is also called as a short arm, and head and neck is equals to the cross. Cross means head and the neck. Head and cross arm. In the meromyosin structure of a that with the monomer of the, because myosin is the polymer, myosin is the monomer. Is the polymer. Myosin is the polymer. One myosin is the myosin is the monomer. Meromyosin tail, neck is as short arm, head plus to cross, and this is so a diagram. I can tell you all tail towards. Therefore, all tails towards line. Tails are towards and all towards the Z line. the line center of the eye, but these head only in the eye. The thick filaments are up. Therefore, towards all heads are tail and all tails M line. All heads are project to Z line. All tails M line. They all heads are towards the. This is the structural mirror. One more. See this side of the head. There are two binding sides for the head of a myosin, myromyosin. This is one binding side and this is another binding side. The upper binding side, this is the upper and this is the lower binding side. And the upper binding side is the actin binding side. Actin binding side. This is the binding site of myromyosin which binds to the active site of the actin. I told you the troponin tropomyosins are same. For example, this is the thin filament. F-actin has the binding sites, active sites. This is one active site and the active sites of the actin are maybe closed or maybe opened, maybe masked or unmasked with the help of the troponin tropomyosin. That is why both the troponin tropomyosins are the regulatory proteins in the thin filament. So when the active sites of the actin are exposed and the head of the myosin, this is the myosin head, myosin neck and myosin tail. Tails are towards the M line and this is the neck of the myosin and this is the head of the myosin. Okay. And the head of the myosin has the two binding sites. The upper binding site, the actin binding site. This is the active site of the actin and this is the binding site of the myosin. This fixes like this. This reacts like this. I think you understood. Okay. Thank you. Next, this is the actin binding site and the lower binding site is the ATP binding site. This is the ATP binding site. Head of the myromyosin has two binding sites. Upper binding site is the actin binding site and the lower binding site is the ATP binding site. Remember, my dear students, this is not only the binding site of the ATP and this is also the binding site of ATPase enzyme. ATPase binding site. ATPase binding site. You know, ATP is hydrolyzed by one enzyme and that enzyme is called as the ATPase enzyme. Therefore, this lower binding site is not only the binding site of the ATP and also the ATPase. And this is the structure of the myromyosin. I repeat again, the thick filaments are present in the only A band. One thick filament contains many myosins. One myosin many myro. Therefore, a polymer is A. Each myromyosin contains neck and the head and tail towards the all heads Z line. Neck also arm and two bindings A upper bind the actin bind. This is the myromyosin reacts with the of the actin is the ATP bind. This is also a binding site ATPase and this is the myrom. Coming to next point. Then the meaning of mode. What is the movement? For example, if I fasciculus, yes, it can this is a muscle fiber. Each contains fibers. Okay, this is the first muscle. Fibers. If I do this brain, I mean the central. This is the central. From the okay, it is a neuron, and that is called as the motor. This is the motor neuron. A motor neuron comes from the central nervous system. innervating to the set of the muscle fiber. Okay, this goes to muscle fiber, and one more, and one more. A motor neuron innervates to the set of the muscle fibers, innervates to set of muscle fibers. Is called as the motor unit. I repeat again, a motor neuron of the central nervous system innervating to the muscle fiber, muscle fiber. This total unit is called as the motor unit. I say, okay, this is the motor unit. Motor unit. But there is a small junction between the muscle fiber and the nerve ending. If I draw the microscopic structure, for example, this is the muscle fiber. This is the muscle fiber. Muscle fiber. Muscle fiber is wrapped by the plasma and this is called as sarcolemma. So I can one more muscle fiber. This is the sarcolemma. I took it out. Okay. So there is a gap between the nerve ending and the sarcolemma. This is the sarcolemma. If I say this is the nerve ending, these are called as the synaptic bottoms of the nerve. And this gap between the nerve sarcolemma, nerve ending, and one more sarcolemma. That gap is neurotension, neuromuscular. The neuromuscular also called as motor gate, motor end on the neuromuscular. Repeat again. The meaning of unit. Motor unit, a one from the system, innervate of muscle fiber. This fiber, muscle fiber, one more. Motor going fiber and one more muscle fiber. This totally is a unit. But microscopic gap. And that is gap, I say, the gap between the nerve ending sarcolemma. Say nerve ending sarcolemma. Sarcolemma is the plasmalemma and the sarcolemma. This gap, the neuron can be called as it. Therefore, my is it's a very good question. Please, my question is one motor consists of many motor replace or many muscular junctions. One motor contains many molecules or muscular junctions. It is where, say, one motor unit muscular junction, another neuromuscular, another neuromuscular junction. The conclusion is motor unit many molecules are neuromuscular. Thank you. One more, the triad. What is the main system? Triad system. I mean, there are three structures. Forming the triad system. Before I discuss about what are the three parts or three structures in a triad system, but the triad system is formed in the mammals in one type and other vertebrates. Triad system in mammals. Triad system in mammals. And the triad system in other vertebrates. like in fishes, in amphibia, in reptilia, also in the apes. Triad system in the mammals and triad system in the other vertebrates. What is the triad system? See, this is the sarcolemma of the muscle fiber. Sarcolemma of the muscle fiber. Okay, this is the eye band. And this is A band, and then one more I band. I band, eyesight band, dark band, anisotropic band, and one more. In the mammal, system is formed at A junction. I junction is formed at the AI junction. This is A band and this AI junction. I band should be the AI junction. Yes, I triad system in the mammal AI junction. Triad system is the sarcolemma undergoes sarcolemma. For example, this is the plasmolemma invagination. Vaginated from T tubules or tubule. This is the junction at the A junction. Sarcolemma this is the invagination. Sarcolemma junction. This tubule. Sarcolemma undergoes at I junction. At AI junction from T tubule. What is the T tubule? Transverse tubule. This is the T tubule. This is the T tubule. Sarcolemma undergoes invagination and the A junction forms the T tubule, and this T tubule flanked either side by a pair of the terminal cisternae. Flanked either side by a pair. This is 1 and 2. 1 and 2. This is one terminal cisterna, another terminal cisternae. Terminal cisternae are nothing but the parts of the endoplasmic reticulum. The muscle endoplasmic reticulum is called as the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Therefore, a T tubule flanked either side by a pair of the terminal cisternae. A T tubule flanked either side by a pair of terminal cisternae. Is called as a triad, and that system is called as the triad system. I repeat. For example, this is the sarcolemma undergoes invagination and the another T tubule. Carefully, this is another T tubule, and this flanked by pair of terminal cisternae as triad system and the triad system. What is the terminal cisterna? Inside the terminal system, calciums are stored. Calciums are stored when the is undistinct condition. Is under rest. Calcium ions in the terminal cisternae are called reservoir and muscle is rest. Calcium ions when resting condition. these system name are called as the wire of calcium. So coming to big function, there is, for example, this is the line, this is another Z line. So Z line and Z line between the two is called the side. So this is called. In mammals, A's are between one in between are mammals. Number of systems. Number of triad systems are 2. See, sarcomere, the distance between the two regular Z lines. This is a triad and this is a triad. Okay. And one more. Number of T tubules are 2. This is one T tubule and another T tubule in one sarcomere. And one more. Number of terminal system name. Number of terminal system name are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number of the terminal system name are 1, 2, 3, 4. Number of the triads are 1 and 2. Number of the T tubules are 1 and 2 in case of the mammals. But whereas in the other vertebrates like fishes, amphibia, reptilia and apes, amphibia, reptilia and apes, the triad system is formed at Z line. Triad system is formed at the Z line. But in mammals, that is formed at the AI junction. This is the AI junction. This is the AI junction. See it like that. This is the sarcomere, sarcolemma. I read sarcolemma. And then we like this A. One. See, this is the Z. And in line, the I band halves is the Z line. This is and in this triad at the Z line. Again, sarcolemma undergoes in tubule and the T tubule. Tubule is formed at the the T tubule at the Z line. Another tubule at the Z line. I write transverse. It is nothing but the inverse sarcomere. The sarcolemma forms the T tubule. This is the a T tubule either side by the terminal system. Flanked either side by the terminal system is equal to a triad. This is a what is the breaks near here. This Z lines in the in one circle. Of this Part-2. Number of Part-2 and number of also 2. This is a and this is T tubules are 2 and number of terminal system also 2 because the sarcomere and they are not coming sarcomere. Here the terminal system is one terminal system. These are coming sarcomere. These mammals system is formed at the remaining vertebrates at the Z line. Therefore, this is a level system. Purpose is system requires of the when the under and coming to the topic muscle contraction.